Hey guys, it's Matt here. First video of June 2025. It's going to be on Otis Redding, everyone's favorite soul singer from the 60s. Certainly the mostly white counterculture. The hippies embraced him before his death in 1967. I got my Monterey Pop poster behind me. Of course, the Monterey Pop Festival. We've all seen the movie. That is the original poster. I had a small size and a large size. That's a larger size. The event at which Otis distinguished himself in the summer of '67. Actually, it was June of '67. So there you go. 58 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to do his albums both while he was alive and the ones that were released posthumously up through 1970, tell the truth. Today, they're all pretty good. There's not a bad Otis Redding album. Okay, let's start. I mean, I don't have like any box sets or anything. I have two of these little, original album series, which if you get both of these, you get all but two of his albums. The King and Queen album with Carla, and then the immortal Otis Redding. So let's start with the original album series, Volume 1. All right. Pain in My Heart. I'm guessing this is 64. The Stones covered that, right? I gotta say that I think I mentioned this in a lot of my British invasion videos, is that when the Brits did all these African American songs, that's oftentimes, if not the majority of the time, first time I ever heard these numbers. So then I went and I sought out the original versions. So, now that enough, the dust has settled and time has passed, there's not that many versions by white, English rock groups that I like better than the original African American versions, but there are some, Pain in My Heart, though, is not one of them. I mean, when Otis Redding sang a song, it was his, maybe with the exception of Respect when Aretha sang it. But anyways, this is a pretty good album. I think I might like it more than the next one, although I think a lot of people do like the next album more. The only classics on here, though, are Pain in My Heart and These Arms of Mine. But he was writing material even, as early as this record. He eventually ended up becoming such a songwriter that most of what he recorded was his material. But this is still, early in his career, and it holds up well. It's like a Solomon Burke or a Wilson Pickett album, from this era. All right, the great Otis Redding sings soul ballads. Did I show you the back of the other album? There's another one, I don't remember if this is from 64 or 65. This is also good. Like I said, I think a lot of people like this one more than Pain in My Heart. The classics here are That's How Strong My Love Is and Mr. Pitiful, right? So he's still... The first two albums are very similar in that, he's writing some, he's doing a lot of cover versions. He always liked Sam Cooke, for instance. He's got, that band that he used, which is mostly Booker T and the MGs, the Memphis Horns, I think, as well. Steve Cropper was like almost a partner of his. And Steve would help write some of the material sometimes too. But, his credentials were impeccable in terms of the soul bands that he used. And these two albums are really good. Only he would do better, right? He got better the longer he recorded. Otis Blue this is definitely 65, year I was born. By almost any account, his greatest album. It's not my favorite, though. The next one is Dictionary of Soul. Actually, it's two albums after this. But this is still a classic. There's a lot of cover versions on here, though. I'll go through all the songs now since this album is so well known. I love his version of Old Man Trouble. His version, he wrote it. Respect. He does it well. It's his song, but it's Aretha's, ultimately. Change Gonna Come, Sam Cooke again. Down in the Valley, I think that's the first song I ever learned on guitar in high school. The Immortal, I've Been Loving You Too Long. Shake, another Sam Cooke song. My Girl, which is a Temptations number, of course, but I want to say he had the bigger hit with it in the UK. I might be wrong. Leave a comment. Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong. Rock Me Baby is the B.B. King number. Satisfaction by the Stones and William Bell's You Don't Miss Your Water. The one thing I will say about this album, which keeps it from being my favorite, I don't think he does those covers as well as the originals. All right? But it's still almost a perfect soul album. And, I'm not going to knock it. Oh, and here's the first version I ever had of that on CD. It's the old Low Fidelity Otis Blue, the classic Otis Blue. All right. All right. The Soul album is kind of an outlier in his early discography, in that it almost might be the least impressive of his early albums. It's a great album just because it's an Otis Redding album. I mean, he always sings well. I don't know, though, if there's any classic Otis Redding songs on here. Cigarettes and Coffee is a really interesting number. Chain Gang, he still likes his Sam Cooke. It's Growing, that's the Temptations number, I think. Treat Her Right, Roy Head. 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. It's a good record just because it's an Otis album, but I'm not going to say it's a classic. Interesting how he has an African-American model on here to counteract the white model that was on that album. It's good, the Soul album. But there's my favorite one. All right, the Otis Redding Dictionary of Soul, complete and unbelievable. I think this is my favorite one. I can't even read this. So I'm going to go to my old CD of that, which did not come in the box set. See, I can read that a lot easier. Fa, 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 sad song is great. I'm Sick, Y'all is good. He does Tennessee Waltz real well. Sweet Lorraine, Try a Little Tenderness is a classic. Day Tripper, another Beatles cover. My Lover's Prayer, he does that well. She Put the Hurt on Me, Ton of Joy, You're Still My Baby, Hog for You, and Love Have Mercy. This is my favorite one. But this and Otis Blue are probably his two best albums, in my estimation. We'll get to the later stuff now, but so that is the first original album series. Dictionary of Soul is 66. He did a few albums in 67, the year of his death. This one with Carla Thomas called King and Queen, it's real good. They both sing on all the numbers, so it's not like he sings one and then she sings another. Carla Thomas, the daughter of Rufus Thomas. All these great, Stax Volt albums, Stax Volt being a subsidiary of Atlantic. Knock on Wood, Let Me Be Good to You, Tramp is the classic on the album. Tell It Like It Is, the Neville Brothers, or Aaron Neville. When Something Is Wrong with My Baby, Lovey Dovey and Years. I mean, these are all. It Takes Two, the Motown. Yeah. Ooh, Carla. Ooh, Otis. Rolling Stone did an issue some years back on the greatest 40, maybe? I don't remember how many it was. Albums of 1967. I think Robert Christgau included this record on there. I like it. I don't know if it's a classic. Here is my old Japanese copy of Live in Europe. This is the last album that would be released, Otis Redding album while he was alive. It's real good. It has suffered some criticism in that the songs are too fast-paced, like he was catering, pick your word, to the white European rock audience, but who cares? It's the whole album works. Yeah, it is mostly up-tempo numbers. You ever heard Bill Graham talk about Otis Redding? He thinks Otis Redding was the most dynamic performer that he ever saw. How he could just have that audience, in the the palm of his hand. Like he could do these fast-paced numbers, and then he could just turn on a dime and do a ballad and just get them, really the audience emotionally wrung out. I think this is a good example. So is the Whiskey A Go-Go live album, which is going to come out in '68 after his passing. But if you only got room for one live Otis record in your collection, you may as well make it this one. It was released during his lifetime. Okay, so here is the second original album series. I don't think I need to. Well, I do need to go to one more standalone CD because this does not contain the immortal Otis Redding for some reason. But anyways, so here's the Live in Europe, which comes in that box. Okay, Dock of the Bay, which of course contains the title song, his most famous song. He had his Monterey show before this. This is a real good album too. Many people consider this a classic. This is the first of his posthumous albums. He would have, well, every album I'm going to talk about from now on for the rest of this video is going to be posthumous. They're real good. His standard of recording had reached such a high point by the time of his passing that you could even compile these albums of new recordings. I don't think all of this is new though. I think some of the stuff was released before, and they're good. All right, so Dock of the Bay. I can't read that hardly. The title song is the first song on there. I love you more than words can say. Let me come on home. Open the door. Don't mess with Cupid. The glory of love. I'm coming home. Tramp again. See, Tramp is the same number that was on the Otis and Carl album. So for sure, some of the stuff on this album was previously released. The Hucklebuck. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. Derek the Dominoes did that one, right? And Old Man Trouble from Otis Blue. So it's another great album. This, I'm sure, would be the only Otis record that a lot of hippies had because he had that reputation now from Monterey, and everyone loved the Dock of the Bay song on the radio. So people rushed out and bought this record, as well they should have. I don't know exactly because we're into '68 now. I don't know exactly where the immortal Otis Redding comes in, so I'm just going to do it right now. This is another pretty much classic album. I got Dreams to Remember, You Made a Man Out of Me, Nobody's Fault But Mine, Hard to Handle, which the Black Crowes did and the Grateful Dead did many times live. 1,000 Miles Away, the Happy Song, that's a good one. Think About It, A Waste of Time, Champagne and Wine, A Fool for You, and Amen. This is one of his better albums as well, the immortal Otis Redding. This and Dock of the Bay are the two best posthumously released Otis Redding LPs. All right, so back to the box now. This is another good live album, also pretty fast-paced. One could also say, oh, he was pandering to the white LA audience at the Whiskey, but I mean, were they all white? I doubt it. Another strong album, just a hair's difference in quality to the European set. Can't Turn You Loose, Pain in My Heart, Just One More Day, Mr. Pitiful again, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. He'd like to do that one live. I'm Depending on You, Any Old Way, These Arms of Mine, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, and Respect. Not every number on here was released on a previous Otis Redding album, so that made it good. I think it's strong. Poisonally. Okay, the last two albums he did posthumously are pretty good, but they're not essential. Love Man, still fairly strong. All of these are fairly strong. Nothing classic on here. I'm struggling to oh, you know what? I can read probably on here better. This is the back of the box. I'm a Changed Man. Your Love Has Lifted Me High. That's the Jackie Wilson number. Higher and Higher. That's a good idea. I'll Let Nothing Separate Us direct. So nothing. Love Man. Love Man's not a bad song. Groove in Time. Your Feeling Is Mine. Nothing essential on here. A Lover's Question. Clive McFadder. Look at that. So nothing essential on there. But, if you've got everything before this album, you may as well have this one too. And the last one came out in 1970, Tell the Truth. Maybe, again, a hair's difference in quality between this and Love Man. This probably being the less essential, but it's not bad either, guys. It's Otis Redding, for Christ's sakes. I won't go over all the titles. Okay, Tell the Truth, yeah, that one I know, the title track. Yeah, I don't see anything on here that's essential, but it's good nonetheless. And if you can get these 2 box sets, I want to say that they're out of print now. Let's see my other one. Oh, well, here it is. If you can get these 2 box sets, pick them up, because if you do, all you need, like I said, is the King and Queen album with Carla and the immortal Otis Redding. Okay? All right, so that's it. Otis Redding, what to say? I always struggle to make these declarative statements. Probably my favorite soul singer of the 60s, but I love Marvin Gaye too. For some reason, I don't think of Stevie Wonder as just a soul singer. I shouldn't think of Marvin Gaye that way either. I shouldn't think of Otis Redding as that, because all these guys wrote. In fact, Otis wrote more in the 60s than Marvin and Stevie did. So that, Otis was not becoming, he was a singer-songwriter pretty much. Not in the Jackson Browne, James Taylor way we view that, but if you'll notice on my descriptors of these videos, I do include singer-songwriter. Anytime that, a guy's not in a band and he writes most of his material. I say he, because I haven't done a Joni Mitchell video yet, but she's coming up, folks. She's coming up. So, Otis, yeah, I've never heard a negative thing about Otis Redding in any conversation I've ever had with anybody about soul singers. So, okay, so I did Marvin Gaye last month. I'm doing Otis Redding in June, and Aretha Franklin is coming up. Matt, signing off.